you need to understand from Saul's perspective, what was he doing the pod for? Was he doing it so that he can go back on radio? You saw his caption, radio, my first love.
The podcast was challenging a lot of radio platforms, and them going for the podcast co-host is just strategically trying to take those numbers from that platform to their platform.
He has money. He is gigging. He is on Mzansi Magic. He is on the podcast. So what is money really to niggas like that?
Nkululeko on Cultr.
Yo, Nkululeko on Cultr. Hello and welcome to yet another episode. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for liking, subscribing, and commenting on the content. And as always, a comment on the content itself. We've got two bright young people who are content creators here. Steph from EverythingSAMusic. Shout out to Queen B Bonang.
Yebo, we love her this side. We love her.
His claim to fame was that his partner in crime, Scoop, told us, and the rest is history.
I mean, like we did, we heard what we heard, and we had to impart it to the people, and it seems like it rubbed off some people the wrong way.
So, did you also hear it?
I did hear it.
Okay, so that's corroboration. Okay, and then we also have Sydney as well, who owns and heads Mzansi A-Listers.
Yes,
Sydney has 84,000 subscribers on Mzansi A-Listers. Has been doing great work. And Steph as well on EverythingSAMusic is on 14 to 15,000 subscribers. So basically we'll chop it up and have a conversation about their platforms. And then, of course, we'll have a look at what happens then in the world of celebrities in the last 7 days. I know that women have hijacked like they usually do. Father's Day, we'll talk about that. Are women the new fathers in Mandela's South Africa? Sydney, let's start with you. You're doing great. 84,000 subscribers on Mzansi A-Listers. Tell us about the journey. When did you start Mzansi's A-Lister? How do you come up with content, basically?
So I think it was 2019. I was a student, right? In the beginning of the year, there was some sort of complications with my marks, and I couldn't get a room on campus, so I had to go outside. So I think going outside, I just cared less about school. So I wanted to be a bit more adventurous, because when you're staying on campus, you your neighbor is going to study. It's going to hurt you. You also feel like you need to study or you're being left behind. But going outside, staying out of campus, I just wanted to follow my dream, because I studied law, but in the middle I was like, really law. But I was always into entertainment. I was a producer in high school, so I started a channel like Mzansi A-Listers just as a way to make money as well, because with law, I graduated now, but there's still a journey to becoming a lawyer. You still have a lot of things to pay for practical legal training. So I just decided, man, you're going to need money. So I just started hustling. YouTube channel was something great, because I had been in the entertainment industry myself, even though I never made it. But I knew a lot about it. So I was like, let me start it. 2019, I decided to start. I started with an AK video going diamond. That's what he said. I don't know if... I never actually verified that, but that's what he posted. He said he went diamond. So I made a video. That was my first one, 2019. And yes, a few years later, 84,000 subscribers, which is crazy.
Yeah, and where were you studying? Where were you from originally? Or where are you based?
Oh, I grew up in Venda, but I was studying at the University of Limpopo.
Okay.
How big are the avocados there? I know they're big, eh?
Well, in Venda, yeah, they're big.
Have you seen the
And
avocados?
they're very affordable, because the prices this side are crazy. In Venda, way too affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every second house has an avocado tree.
Well, not really. They used to, but not anymore. When I grew up, my grandmother had a farm. It's not a farm, but they divided the place. You have a house, and then there's some small yard where you have trees and all that. But these days, the houses are very small, so you don't have space to plant stuff like that. Yeah.
So University of Limpopo.
Yeah.
So you were studying there, and you still based there, because you mentioned something about graduation. So as you are doing these videos on Mzansi A-Listers today, most of the time you would do it on campus, or you have a house in Limpopo?
Nah, I was renting a room, but now I've moved to Joburg. I'm in Joburg full time now.
Oh, nice one. Welcome. Welcome. So you've just joined Joburg.
Yeah, I've just joined Joburg now.
Piece of shit city.
You've been robbed before.
Yeah.
Like in Joburg. Have they touched you up?
Not in Joburg.
Yeah.
No.
Let's talk about the content that you decided to make. I was saying to Gaugelo, who's our videographer, as I'm conversing with her, I'm always curious about content and the how and the who and the what. Your content relies a lot on other news happening for you then to give your fans content. So original content is when you take your camera, go and speak to people, and that's like your content. No one can do anything with it. They can use it on fair use, obviously, but that still belongs to you. When conversely, you are successful, but you rely on other things happening on other platforms. Were you tempted to do original content, or were you because you were in Limpopo? It's like there's nothing I can do. I can't just go and speak to Casper about the biggest thing that just happened, root of fame or whatever the case is. So you just rely on the clips and then stitch up a story from there.
Yeah, so from the beginning, it was only just about news because I never really wanted to make content for myself or anything like that. I just wanted to make some extra money because I knew I would need it after varsity. That was the main basis. So it was always based on something else happening, like Keenan going Diamond and stuff like that. So it's basically just a news channel. Right now, maybe we're working on different content, like original content, but before I never had any thought about it.
Yeah, and is there any spillover? Because I'll get this from Steph. There is spillover from their content. They were talking about Slimes, who are Reese's fans. There was a Bonang thing that happened before, and so on and so forth. So there's naturally with them, you know their faces, you know that there's two of them. So there's a spillover. You know where to attack them on social media. What are the consequences of some of the stuff that you've done over the years? What has happened to you as a result? Whether it's people going to your socials against what you've... Because you literally report the news. You don't have any opinion one way or the other.
Well, I would say it was very minimal because a lot of people don't actually go through the description. I usually have my usernames there and all that. A lot of people don't, but some do. So it never really spills over to me personally. Just maybe bad comments.
Wait a minute. When he's talking right now I hear the Mzansi A-Lister voice.
So,
I didn't hear it from the time he walked in. But then I'm listening to him quiet. I'm like, this is Mzansi A-Lister.
Yeah, it's me, man.
Yo,
It really is me.
so we've finally seen the face. But any incident that stands out, like from the content that you've done, people attacking you and stuff like that?
Nah, it's never really bad. Like the channel just connected me to a lot of people. You know, like Nota. I've had a lot of people, some which I wouldn't mention, but like in the entertainment industry have reached out. So it has mainly been positive and not negative.
All right, let's go into Steph then. EverythingSAMusic. Just full disclosure, I used to work with Stefan Ndikumana on Massive Metro. In fact, I was a guest in your platform, wearing the same things that I'm wearing now, actually.
You know why I even came today?
Yeah.
With no questions asked, because I was like, this guy came through when he had the chance to say, not now, you know. He came through, so I was just like, nah, I definitely have to come through.
For sure. We worked together, Massive Metro. I've seen you grow, and you guys started EverythingSAMusic. In fact, the Bonang interview was shot in the same office that we shoot Itiski TV, because I was like, nah, niggas, y'all can use the studio.
Yeah, no.
Little did I know that there was going to be something happening.
Yeah,
there.
no, because if people, it's crazy. I didn't even notice that, like, people didn't see Itiski TV shot here, and like that whole incident was shot there. No one's ever come to us and say, like, do you know Nkululeko? Do you shoot with him? I was like, yo, bruh, like, because after that whole thing, we all know we had to like switch the whole thing up.
Oh, yes. And I was upset with that because the person who owns Massive Metro is my business partner on Itiski TV. And I was very upset that they didn't support you guys, because I think someone at the office just gave them the wrong information. We don't want to be attached to this. These niggas must not shoot here. And I was pissed off by that, because I have no connection with EverythingSAMusic other than you guys being my friends. I don't have any shares in it, but I looked at the vision that you guys were trying to do, and I was like, you guys at that point, you need more than anything else support. But unfortunately, you guys had to be moved there. Unfortunately.
But like for me, when I look at those kind of things, I see that it's something that you need to go through as a content creator.
Yep.
Because okay, you did say, yo, it's fine, you can use the spot. But if we didn't go through that, we wouldn't be able to be so agile and resilient, you know, because we would always rely on, okay, if Nkululeko is going to help us, or if that's going to... So we had to make a plan, like, you know. And I think through this whole process, I've grown in that aspect, like just learning how to think on the spot. Like if things don't work out, the guest's not coming, The spot is, I don't know, we don't have a place to shoot. The studio is booked. We just have to make a plan. This last week, we're shooting at my backyard.
Wow.
Imagine. Until like, it was like, we shot in the day, like 4 o'clock. We finished like about 7. It's
the
winter.
sunset. At
It's
some point,
dark.
the sunset.
It's pitch black. Like, we're using a light and everything. You can see towards the end, Rhea's feeling cold. And they're no more talking. They started feeling cold. I was like, guys, come on. We have to finish the topics. So, yeah. I mean, but like, if I have to go back to the start, ne? So, I met Rhea. Before I even met him, he started the page as Everything SA Hip Hop. And then when he started the page as Everything SA Hip Hop, later on he changed it to be Everything SA Music.
Yeah.
And he was just like a blogger, like South African music blogger.
I think it had 200,000, hundreds of thousands at some point on Instagram, not as Everything Music.
I think it was 150 or 100 and something. Because when I met him, it was about 170 or 160.
Yeah.
I met him around that era. I met him through DJ's Boo. Because you know what happened? So before I met him, I told DJ's Boo that, yo, I see that, you see that, like the hashtag DJ's Boo.
Oh yeah, when you promote small businesses on Twitter.
Yeah, so one time we're sitting, he tells me, yo, I wanna like promote more businesses on the weekend, and I do retweet them. I'm like, I went to him and said, the best thing you can do for it to be more effective is just put a time and a date to it, because that's when you'll trend. Because if you put everyone on the same time, it'll trend, because that's when the most activity is happening.
Sure.
So he chose Saturday on that day and that thing. So I told him later on, like, since you have a business community, why don't you do the same thing but for artists? Because artists reach out to you, do a whole program that you build them up and stuff like that. And he kept it in mind. So when he met Rhea, he connected me to him. He's like, yo, dude, you have skills of videography, content creation, and also like social media. Here's this guy. He already has a blog. Try to make something happen. By that time, there was no content. So I told Rhea, I was like, yo, dude, okay, I see what you're doing. I'm just going to watch what you do on a weekly basis. So I saw it. He started, like, in a way, shadowing the editing side of stuff.
I started seeing him at the office more.
Yeah, he was literally editing some clips and stuff like that. So when we got to the point where I was like to him, yo, dude, we need to interview people, because you just posting about them doesn't make you different from anyone else. Because imagine if I can get this post on SA Cloud or SA Hip Hop Reloaded or SA Hip Hop 24/7.
Yeah.
Then what's the point? Like, what?
Same news story.
You know? So I was like, yo, dude, already the crowd is there. They already love music. The best thing we can do is start interviewing them. Rhea's like, okay, cool. He was like looking for like upcoming artists. I'm like, my guy, no time for upcoming. We're starting with the big ones.
You're not gonna grow.
I was like, we're starting with the big ones. We're going for everyone big. We see the people that walk in and out of the radio station, Massive Metro. We're taking them on. Anyone which is big.
Yeah.
Then we started. But then we started with I first did the first. If you check the YouTube, the first interview, I did it by myself in front of a green screen, shooting Vigro Deep. Asking some questions, also playing around with content, trying to understand what I can do, what works, what doesn't work. So I kept it short, like 6 minutes, edited it nicely. That one was okay. And then the second person, we got Jode Hosi. And then the other one, we got like Tweezy, we got Zinga. Then we got Nota. You see, all of them were okay. They were getting 1,000, 2,000 type of thing. When we got Nota, we realized this guy went raw, unfiltered. And it's like, the other thing is like, sometimes you meet someone and you just like, and like, you see, I like this kind of talk, because when you meet everyone else in the industry, they just want to say what they want you to, they say what they think you want to hear. They don't say what they're thinking or they feel. So they say everything right. So when we met Nota, he did that. Yo, bro. Plus with our personalities mixed with Nota, bro. It's just like, that video just went crazy. I think from then it just that all the other videos picked up.
Yeah.
And
I remember
then-
there was one that I just want to jump the story.
Yeah.
One that stood out as well was Buhle, if I'm not mistaken.
Buhle, yes.
There was something in particular you were asking about Mujolo or something like that.
Yes.
What was that? Because I remember that blew up.
I mean, it was. Buhle is we all know she's a pretty chick.
Isn't she? Didn't she do Siatandana with Casper?
She did Siatandana with Casper. She did that. She also did Novani with what's their names? Rismatlisa and Zuma. She did a couple of bangers, like.
Sure.
So in that time, she also did her big song was Mama. So we asked her like what was going on between her and Josiah, because there was rumors that Msebenzi Wethu was for Josiah and it involved Buhle. And her response was like, nah, it's not. And I think it was her first time speaking out, because you must understand the piano community as a whole, it's a bunch of young kids which were just like me and you, which didn't
There's
understand
no media infrastructure.
PR, nothing.
Yeah.
There's no, as you say. So when they blow up, a lot of them, radios, or let's just say mainstream media catches on to them late, after like 3 bangers, 4 bangers, you know. So once we started seeing that gap, we're like, oh no, we're getting everyone. DJ Stocky, we're getting Buhle. We tried to get a lot of people. We got Jezik, you know how that turned out. So when we got Buhle, this was before she even like did her like any big interview, and she kind of like opened up to us more than a lot of people have. And also the other thing is her personality is just that lady next door, which will tell you things that maybe she should have not told you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, plus she's like super like down to earth. After that, we literally got a kota with her. Like we like drove around the area, got a kota, we talked, and then we dropped her off, then we went. So she was pretty dope. And then moving along, that's when we saw that this guest thing is not viable, because we can spend 3 weeks, a month.
Yeah, but Sogolisa,
Dude,
Sogolisa,
they make sure that you realize they are superstars.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So when we saw that, we're like, okay, the best thing we can do is try to do our own content. So we're thinking around that. Nota hits us up again and says, yo, podcast is falling off. They are biased, they're in the industry, and they're going to say whatever they want to like get a bag. We need a new face, a new podcast. So we're like, yeah, do a bi-weekly podcast. We're like, okay, we'll think about it. And then we just decided 1 week. We said we're doing it. But the minute they switched on the mic, you could see I didn't want to be there, bruh. It was agony, bruh. Like literally, like I was there sitting there thinking, when am I going to end this podcast? But like when I went on, I realized that, hey man, throughout this whole process until now, like it has in a way built me to be more opinionated and to speak my mind, you know.
All right, let's wrap it up then with the two of you guys' platform. I asked Sydney the same question with you. The spillover from the content that you do. Before we get into social commentary and other stuff that are happening, one day when you guys get 100,000 subscribers and so on, we'll talk again as individuals about the platform in full and the money and so on.
Yeah.
But with you guys, I mean, I've watched the last 3-4 episodes consistently. And I'm listening to you and Steph, to you and Ria and NK. Do you go out of your way to offend people's fan bases?
No, we don't.
When you decided to talk for 40 minutes about Aries' fans, what was happening?
You know what it is?
Oh man.
What did they do to you that you had to address them for 40 minutes?
Okay, let me start by answering the do I go out of our way to offend them? You know why I'm saying no, we don't go out of our way to offend them? Because it's always we the platform that pushes you to think, provokes you to think. You get what I mean? So that cheap mentality is not something that we are fond of, you know? So whenever you see something like that and it's spilling into the industry, we always try to question it, challenge the status of what's going on in SA hip-hop or the music aspect. And you know the slimes are like passionate, like
For sure.
they're passionate, and the rest of the industry, you can see they're scared of them, like they're not willing to say nothing about them. So when we say stuff like that, we don't necessarily expect a response, but we challenge the people that actually listen to us to think, hey, no, man, do I actually like Aries, or am I pushed by peer pressure in the circles that I'm at to love that kind of music? You know, you get what I mean? So that spills over to people and they take offense. Mind you, offense is taken, not given, you know.
Facts.
So that kind of content, like when we go back on social media, we ads, you know, people like, you know, calling us clowns, you know. That time, this guy, what's this guy? One of these brews tagged and like called us clowns, you know. Be careful, you know.
You even got a
like-
mention from Focalistic.
Yeah, you know, but Focalistic was just trying to like get Bonang, bro. Let's be honest. They were both in the same city. Come on. That night, he was just trying to get, I don't know what,
No,
a
but
hookup or...
isn't Focalistic a young nigga? Like, is he not early
No,
20s?
you must understand, all these people that enter the industry have had like industry crushes, like,
Facts.
you know, women, guys. So let's, for example, a girl's 21 years old. Casper bumps into her at a party. She's just like the hottest thing in the industry. And he says, hi, you're doing great work. What do you think that is running through that girl's head? Do you think it's what's going on right now? I deserve to be here. No, it's that girl which was in the bedroom busy crushing on Casper in your vest. So that's how like how it works. Like this girl's just be taken by this guy's sweep because they're still starstruck. In the industry that you're in, you're still starstruck. You get what I mean? So people like Focalistic, I just didn't understand. Like it didn't involve him. He just came into it. And I guess it was popular to talk about us in that way at that time, you know. So for me, it's fine. It's fine because I give out opinions. I'm expecting opinions back.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You
So-
put yourselves out there. You wanted to say something to me?
Yeah, I think he was also addressing McG. Isn't McG also said something?
Oh, yeah.
about
It was
No,
not only them.
It wasn't advising McG. The
No,
brew,
he
the brew.
mentioned you guys plus McShield. That's
Hey,
what's-
he
No.
was saying F all these
Nah,
podcasts.
Yeah.
That the brew is scared of McG's fan base.
Facts.
So he didn't come straight for him. He came for the
ended
easiest.
up with you.
Yeah, he came for us.
That's a good
because
assessment, actually.
he thought, okay, everyone's saying screw everything SA music, and they're similar to McG.
Yeah,
in my
because the
eyes.
easiest way to do it is to say fuck McG. And you wait for the response.
You see?
And he was not going to do that.
Yeah, so he knew. I think he just didn't want part 2 of Mengele things. So I guess like he was just like, yo,
Because, I mean, it was so, we had a segment about
a whole,
Mengele.
bruh, he broke that thing down so bad. Like,
Helmet Mkelele.
hey,
So if you have any beef, you'll have a beef with Soul. Speaking about Soul, let's get into it then. Analyzing at any point, guys. Let's just have a dope conversation.
Okay.
Steph is partnering up with Uria Khopane, and they are EverythingSAMusic. And then Sydney is Mzansi's A-Lister. You'll check them out. I think I'll put their links on the descriptions as well if you are more interested. If you want to go and see their content. And I thank this gentleman for coming through. Soul sold out. That was the trend last week.
No,
I mean, like, it kinda-
You guys
it's a
mentioned it long before it trended.
Yes.
Because I heard you guys talking about it on your platform.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 or 5 weeks before. And the way that you guys broke it down was that So is getting Big Brother this. So is doing that. You guys said he's selling out even through that he's getting gigs and therefore is toning his voice down in order for him to get gigs. Of course, it's a difficult criticism, but that's what you guys observed at the time. Do you believe he's selling out by joining Kai FM?
He's selling out to the industry, but he's not selling out to himself, I guess. You get what I mean? So when we're saying quote unquote captured, that's exactly
that's
what you
said.
said.
Yeah, that's what you guys said.
So we saw that, okay, these guys are the biggest platform in Africa, you'd say. They compete internationally. You get what I mean?
They do better numbers than Joe Budden, who was one of the leaders of the podcasting industry,
You see?
getting offers of 100 million from Spotify, if not less, if not more. So they are doing better than Joe Budden at this point.
Yeah, so let me just do this. So when I was looking at it from that perspective, imagine you are Saul, you are known by like 70% of the South Africans which are online. And then you still need to catch like a cab to go past Hillbro. You know? You still have to deal with everyday struggles, you being that famous. You get what I mean? MacG has this platform. But like we all know that it hasn't got to a point whereby it's raking in millions because it's not, let's say, internet. It's not in UK. It's not in the US. Because with McGee's numbers in the US, in the UK, he'll be raking in millions. You get what I mean?
But I can argue that he's making Itiski TV makes from World Sports Betting and from YouTube money. We easily make per month between 4 and 500,000 because the deal alone here, World Sports Betting, is 300,000. Of course, you look at the newspaper and everything else. But when I'm breaking it down at the level of digital only, we make maybe between 2 and 400,000. I think on YouTube money alone, MacG, if we get, because we get around 40,000 rands on YouTube alone, looking at YouTube alone, we're getting 40,000, give or take. If we get 1 million to 1.5 million views in that month, we get around 40,000 rands. MacG easily makes that in a week. So let's say, for argument's sake, he makes 60,000 per week. So that's 6, 12, 18, 24. That's 250,000 in a month, right?
Yeah.
Only on YouTube views, 250,000 rands in a month.
Yeah.
So in a year, that's around maybe 3.5 million in a year.
But how many people do you have to employ?
Tina, we feed a lot of mouths.
But I'm saying like with the YouTube side, just the YouTube side.
On the YouTube side, it's Offense, it's Justice, it's then Junior Kanye and Tso Vilagazi, and then we have 2 additional staff, Machaka and Makanya. The YouTube money that we make on 40,000 rands that we make on YouTube alone doesn't even cover full of Junior Kanye's salary.
This is you guys, your operation on 2 hands, right?
Yeah.
This guy once said that his operation is up close to 30 people. And this was a while ago when he was getting cancelled for that GP fee. 30. Did he?
30?
Yeah, I think he said 30. I don't know.
Okay, so I'm not even trying to critique that. I'm just surprised with the information.
You see, so, mind you, that's how many people he has to pay. You get what I mean?
Wow.
And then there's the hosts, right?
Yeah.
Which it's not the same bag.
Yeah, for sure.
You see, so that as a whole is very, I would say, very hard, especially because you don't have any other form of income coming in that is beyond that. You get what? Your biggest form of income is sponsors, and we all know that sponsors, if you speak that freely, they're really scared of that kind of content. You get what I mean? So with Saul and with MacG, for them, it's a thing of how long are you willing to wait and run like this before you have to give in. So that's where we saw it from. Okay, MacG is getting so much. Does he have the patience? Because he did have the patience before the numbers. And once you have that numbers, you equate it to money. Once you equate it to money and it's not making out, it doesn't make sense. You get what I mean? So you end up trying to, you end up losing hope in the idea of the numbers, and you have to like fall into the industry. And we all know mainstream media doesn't have a hold onto YouTube or digital platforms or independent media platforms. So if they don't have a hold, what do you think they're going to grab you with? The lack of money. And when you have no money, you can't really live that life in South Africa, especially if you're well known. If it really eats you, that is. If it doesn't eat you, it's fine. Like you can be like Nota, just wear sweatpants, wear sandals, and know what you have in your bank account,
Fact.
You see, so when we saw that and we saw them saying that, and then we saw Saul taking the presenting gigs, MacG on the road DJing, it just made sense that, okay, these guys the podcast did rejuvenate their brands. So they're literally trying to make the money they want to make through all the other ways, And then it didn't shock me when he took the radio gig, because when I look at that radio gig, you need to understand from Saul's perspective, what was he doing the pod for? Was he doing it so that he can go back on radio? Was the pod actually like radio demos on air on YouTube? Was all of this, because you must understand for MacG, this is a end all be all. It's MacG's product. It's MacG's thingy. And everyone was coming at Saul. Saul, you sold out and everything. I mean, like, I would turn my face and look at McG and say, okay, if McG really wanted Saul to stay there, then why not give him a piece? If he's really bringing that type of,
That's an interesting one, because I did have some, when we were fighting with Junior, because it was getting offers, I did speak to my partners about, how about 5%?
You see?
How about this and that? Because 5% is significant
Yeah.
to the value of everything. That because we have a newspaper, we have a popping website with 4 million visitors every month. So I thought about that personally, but
Right.
then his motivation was completely different. It was just agitating for a bigger bag all the time, and we got him to a bigger bag, and I think he's probably the highest paid
Analyst.
analyst in the country. That's why I'm saying even the 40,000 that we get from YouTube doesn't even cover him alone. What do you think, Sydney, about the situation from all angles? Basically, is he going for the bag? Is he captured? Is he selling out?
Man, I think two things can be right at the same time. From Saul's perspective, man, you can understand why. Because if you're not getting money and you got responsibilities like a kid and all that, then certain things can push you to like joining radio. So from Saul's perspective, you can kind of understand it. On the other side, I did hear Nota saying that, look, he thinks Kai is trying to kill the podcast. And I believed it. I do think that, the podcast was challenging a lot of radio platforms. And them going for the podcast co-host is just strategically trying to take those numbers from that platform to their platform. I don't think there's any other motivation.
Yeah, I mean, you make a very good point there that you see, and this is like, maybe we can have a back and forth about this, because I think there is a realistic, there's a reality that us digital content creators, the three of us are digital content creators. We have ownership in 3 different platforms, and I do think that there is, we are at loggerheads with mainstream media, right?
Yes.
I've looked at, now I'm entertaining your idea, Steph. I've looked at myself and my inability to drive myself to places, and I'm like, okay, I just bought a house. Maybe in six months' time I'll buy a car. But I know how frustrating it is. But to me, it's like I don't give a fuck anyways. So I do understand it from his standpoint. If Saul has to catch a cab, then maybe that's problematic. But then we don't know the full extent of his finances, and we shouldn't know anyways, because that's a private thing. But if he has to catch a cab to go to places and it's recognizable, and that's a problem I faced too. I'm like, shit, I cannot be found here in this manner, until obviously we started getting popping, and then we started making some money. And I was like, cool. I was even uncomfortable. I bought this house last year, but before that, I was comfortable living in a complex.
Yeah.
Because I would have to fetch my food from Mr. D at the gate, and niggas would know me. Like, I'm literally in my shorts. I'm trying to really be my fucking self. I'm in my shorts. I'm smelly armpits because I haven't washed in the morning.
Yeah.
I've ordered takeouts, but then there's niggas that know me and they want to talk all the fucking time, and I'm like, nah, I need a standalone house in a very secluded suburb and so on. So I can get it from that point. Uguti, maybe he wasn't making that money, but then Nota throws a hand grenade at the situation and says, he has money. He is gigging. He is on Mzansi Magic. He is on the podcast. Give or take, it's not less than 30,000, hopefully. So what is money really to niggas like that?
I mean, for me, when I look at it, as it goes back to also the why did Saul join the podcast? Why? Because for me, it looks clear as day that he joined to go back one day to radio. You saw his caption, radio, my first love.
Unfortunately, us radio niggas, we love that place. Unfortunately. Even though I've given it a middle finger now, I've asked myself the question, what would I do? But then I have 2 different products on digital. It's like, maybe I will choose digital. But what happens if Metro FM says come through? The only reason why I wouldn't pick it is because there are meetings on radio. Because at Massive, we used to have meetings. And I used to be grumpy. I'm like, no, I don't want to be in a meeting. My show is dope.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, don't bring me in a meeting.
Some
don't
content
give me
meeting.
instruction.
Yeah.
What are we doing for Heritage Month? What are we doing? So maybe if those things were not there as obstacles, I wouldn't go to radio. But I do know that there is a battle with radio. What do you think, Sidney? Do you think radio is literally going out of its way, or mainstream media is going out of its way to destroy us as digital content creators, and why?
I mean, if you think about it, back then mainstream media was something like different as it is now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of attention was on mainstream media. But ever since varsity, I've never had like DSTV or even cared about TV. It's just online content right now.
Yeah.
That's what, looks to be the future. And everybody else is trying to take, the talent that's emanating from online platforms to their platform so that they can prolong their career.
It's more or less the following, not talent. They don't care about talent.
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. The numbers. Whoever has the numbers, they're taking those numbers. That's it.
For me, also wanted to add the fact that the attack on attack from mainstream media stems from the idea that they know what's gonna happen. The nice thing about being in Africa and being online is you do not have to be ahead of the world. You just need to be ahead of Africa, because what's happening in Europe or overseas in countries which are first world countries literally is happening here, but they happen a couple of years later. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So they see that, damn, Spotify is paying bags to podcasters, getting exclusive deals, that kind of stuff, and they see that's what's coming our way in Africa. We need to find a way to slow it down so we can find a way to regulate it. Because once we can regulate it, we are part of the money. Because you did see that whole thing that DSTV subscribers are dropping.
Yeah.
With the same amount of 400 and something, you can literally pay for Netflix, Amazon, whatever, Prime, Showmax. You can literally also pay for internet, all that kind of jazz. With that amount, and still have change to buy yourself chips or something.
But you would have slow. I get your point, but you would have extremely slow internet.
But at the end of the day, you'd be entertained.
Yeah.
Because sorry.
Yeah.
You were saying?
No, I'm saying the thing also with YouTube is that it seems to not care about creators on the continent. Because like Meg G's like the number one guy in Africa. They should have offered him a bag like a long time ago.
But time is coming.
But I think offering someone a bag can come in different ways. Meg G is guaranteed at least 2 million impressions per show. You guys at least understand that language.
Yeah.
You understand the language of impressions.
Yeah.
At the very least, YouTube is going to show your content to 2 million people. And then you hope that half of them, 10% of them will see it. So that's 200,000. For Meg G to get to 450,000 per episode or to 400,000, it means YouTube showed it to 4 million people at the very least. Or maybe he has higher impressions, but give or take, even if 20% comes from organic traffic, still YouTube's commitment to you, because people are watching, obviously, and because people are staying for 30 minutes to an hour, which is way more than the average watching time on other platforms. I think the best they could do for us is to give us impressions, help us with impressions. And yes, obviously, when there's a copyright strike, have someone assigned for us to say, look, there's a copyright, they've taken down my episode, sorted out within 24 hours. We have that with Itiski TV, because when you get to 100,000, I have someone that I speak to for YouTube and say, look, because of the betting sponsor that we have, our episode has been taken down. I don't know, I've not thought of what else can they do for me except for help us reach more people, because when we reach more people, we will make more advertising money from YouTube itself. I think the onus is also on us to get sponsors. Like I spoke to World Sports Betting from the jump, wrote them an email, and they came back. Hollywood Bets came back later, and other platforms came back later. But I think there is, from us as creators, and I said this to you, Sydney, that with your 84,000 subscribers, I would easily make money. I would easily make someone pay 50 to 100,000 to serve their content, like to serve their brands there, because they've done well from actually, and at the very least, I'm sure there's been lawsuits and there's been pressure from South Africa. YouTube has not said, because there's lawsuits, we are then going to close you down or whatever. They've given support and they've given the platform, and I think that's the best for them to do as a platform.
I wanted to talk about that thing where I was saying Spotify and all that kind of jazz. So you do know, as content creators, when Saul does a thing like that, he kind of puts our negotiation on the table, and like he devalues us as creatives in the continent.
How so?
Because if he takes those radio gigs and he takes this what you call mainstream media stuff, we all know in the long run it deteriorates your rawness, because you start thinking about the money they give you. Because you end up living the lifestyle that requires that money. And when you are there, quote unquote, captured by the system, because you do need to fulfill or be a certain way to get that money. You get what I mean?
Absolutely.
So now that you that way, when you go back online, it becomes a issue because right now it affects the viewership and your audience. And if they are the biggest platform in Africa, they're literally the face of what African content can look like. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And if they don't get it, as far as just like Spotify bag or all that kind of negotiation, because what happens is, okay, they give them the Spotify bag, Apple looks for a number 2 to give him similar to that bag or lower. And then Amazon says, okay, no, we're getting our own. Google says we're getting our own.
Yeah.
If that process is delayed, it affects all of us.
Yeah, I
as
get
creators.
I get the part as well. I get the multi-layered that you are trying to break down. I also get the part that when he's on Kaya FM every single morning,
Yeah.
Monday to Friday,
Yeah.
and this is something that the audience need to think about now, Monday to Friday, the 2 days that is on the podcast, if he says shit like transgenders are niggas who decided to chop off their dicks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Which obviously created a hoo-ha, brouhaha moment. There is a possibility that on Kaya FM, he may have to explain himself. And this is what I thought of when that happened. Like, okay, cool, you need the bag and stuff like that. But then that means if you have to explain yourself the first time, then when you go to the podcast, you go and rectify it.
Yeah.
And you are negatively impacting your freedom and how free you can be on the podcast. I don't know if you agree with that.
Yeah, I saw some comments about that because they're saying, if just like the way you said it, if he's gonna have to worry about what those guys are gonna have to think, he's gonna act differently. He's not gonna be as free as he was anymore. That's what Notice like Space was about. Like, if this guy's gonna be regulated, because going on radio means that you're gonna have to play by certain rules. And even if you're doing something outside of radio, it's still going to directly impact your radio career because somehow they're going to say you're the face of this show. And if you're doing 1, 2, 3, it's going to affect us back. So in a way, it is going to tone him down. That's a fact.
All right, there you go then. Let's wrap it up. Shout out to Saul. We don't know your financial situation. I know how frustrating it is to move around poor niggas now that you are known. So if you needed to upgrade yourself, shout out to you. But of course, we do understand, Uguti, we can't have our best people for sale with the price tag all the time. And I think that's the converse about it, the dichotomy that exists that, look, man, there must be people amongst us who are not for sale, who you will not get under whatever price. This means then, as fans, as consumers, we need to make sure that they're straight. We need to make sure that they don't need, even if it means that we crowdfund them to 3 million or whatever.
Yeah.
Then they get sorted out and they become ours exclusively. I noticed something because we're coming from Father's Day weekend, and I noticed that it's like a ritual that we do annually where women in South Africa hijack that day. And I actually had this thought. I know it's provocative. I said to myself, South African women engage in bestiality. Bestiality means you are sleeping with animals. The act of sleeping with animals. If South African women say that men are dogs, then South African women, 1, allow dogs to sleep with them, and 2, they allow dogs to come inside them so that they become their baby daddies. What do you guys think about Mother's Day and women always attacking men?
What I think is there's a lot of traumatized women out here. You get what I mean? So that same traumatized women, we always engage in this conversation on how the boy child is raised. Because if a lady is going to say men are trash, what type of kids are you raising? You get what I mean? Are you raising trash too? Because I always ask people,
does it apply to your children too?
Yeah, because you can't be the anomaly. You can't be the perfect one only. You get what I mean? Because even when I ask like feminist people, which are like feminists, when you see your son, like how do you feel? Because you can see how you feel about every other man. You get what I mean? And how their approach is. Because one time I was sitting amongst like a group of them, and they were talking about how men are this, how men are that, and like I was like, okay, you do know, to come to a solution, we all need to have a conversation, right? So what is man's role in this so-called feminist movement? And guess what they tell me? They literally said to me, you're just there when we need you. I'm like, are we a parked car that we have to wait for you to start us to fight for your rights or something like that, because it just doesn't make sense to me.
They want your money and your genitalia.
Yeah.
Just give me your wallet when I need it. Give me your dick when I need it.
Think about it, because you are feminist from 9 in the morning to 5 p.m. By that 7, when you're feeling some type of way, you forget that thing. Now you have to go in the bedroom, and there's no feminism there.
What do you think, Sydney? Women are hijacking Father's Day. Do they want to be men by defect, or do they want us to wish them Happy Father's Day and Happy Mother's Day in the same year?
I mean, look, I grew up without a father, so to a certain, to a certain extent, I can understand women, man. Like, I grew up like without a father, but in the same village as my father, and I've only seen him probably 3-4 times my entire life.
Shit.
That guy just doesn't care. So, having seen the trauma that my mom went through, you know, you can understand certain things. Like, this guy has a family now, but he acts like he doesn't know I exist. I just live like a few houses away from where he stays. You know, so to a certain extent, you can understand women, like the things that men do these days. Like,
yeah, I mean, I never grew up with the father too, and
me too.
It was a traumatic thing that happened to my mother, which I will share at some point when I'm ready to share it. But it was a traumatic. It was not consensual sex, but at the same time, with women who willingly open their legs to men, they are deciding who are fathering their children. And for me, I'm always going to push back on that and say, look, where does personal responsibility apply? I understand some niggas ain't shit. Like, some niggas ain't shit. If my father was in the same village as I am, I would think, when I'm fair to, we snide when you are full of shit. Because you never bothered to take me to school. You never bothered to go watch me play football. Yeah, but that's that situation. But then a personal responsibility, when as a woman, Nota says something very interesting. It says women are the gatekeepers of every race. They decide which men they're gonna bear children to. So we know that there's a problem with men who dump their children. Yeah, but so do you not then change the way that you date people before you decide to give them children? There's abortion, there's birth control. There's so many steps before you allow a piece of shit nigga. Because I have one child. And I've always maintained that I will never have a child with a woman who drinks alcohol. Because I don't drink, I don't smoke. I will never have. Even that is not even enough of a vetting system. Because you actually have to know what kind of human being are you dealing with. Can she help your child with homework? So where does personal responsibility come in?
I mean, a lot of our children are not planned in South Africa, so it's never like we want to have a child. It's like we had sex and we have a child now.
Yeah.
So it's a different situation. When we have sex, it's not like I'm thinking you're going to be the father of my child or whatever, the mother of my child. It's like we're having sex. A child 9 times out of 10 is something that happens unintentionally. At least in our country, it's always unplanned. So
but you can control it.
Yeah, you can. So personal responsibility, I don't know, maybe to a certain extent, because I did also read a lot of Nota's tweets. But I feel like he's privileged because he grew up with a father and a mother. So it seems like he grew up in a very good family. So he doesn't understand a lot of the things that other people had to go through, since you mentioned his comment. So personal responsibility has to apply to both people. Like a child comes from the guy.
Yeah.
So when having sex, you ought to feel something like, no, I didn't pull out. Let me get a morning after pills or this and that. Women 9 times out of 10 don't even notice that there's something happening until they get pregnant.
Before the act of sexual intercourse, like, how about knowing this bitch nigga? How about knowing his finances? Like, how about knowing him? I mean, some niggas, Future is the biggest example of a nigga who seemingly they say is a deadbeat.
Facts.
And he's not a private individual, he's a public figure. For him to get to baby mama number 7, she would have known, that lady would have known that, okay, there was baby mama number 6 or child number 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, but that's public information. And even as a kasi, you know, okay, this nigga, I've heard a rumor that he has 3 other children in the same street. Yeah, but so it's not a shocking thing. Yeah, but you are the gatekeeper, like Notice saying. And I believe that you are the gatekeeper. You decide what kind of father you're going to have. And some women even decide that I'm going to have light-skinned babies alone. And that means they're going to open their legs to light-skinned
You know what they say about tall, dark, and handsome. That's what it's at, bro.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, also the other thing is, I wanted to say, the question is, beyond that is, do South Africans lack discipline? Because that goes back to discipline. goes back to discipline. Am I going to go and have one night stands? Okay, fine. If you're going to have one night stands, are you going to be responsible while you do it? Okay, you're going to, a couple of them, you're going to let them slide, Are you going to take responsibility afterwards with morning after abortion?
Yeah.
Do you believe in those kind of things? If you don't, why go that way if you're not ready? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it also goes back to our cultures, because I feel like we're speaking about it the other time. I think I was playing soccer on FIFA or something, and then they were playing soccer and Sterling got the ball, and I was just like, he was about to score. I was like, imagine this nigga still has 6 kids to think about. You get what I mean? He's like, he can't. There's a lot in his mind. And then I went back to think, and like, what's this whole thing about having 15, 16 kids as a black man? What's so attractive about that? And I think I went back to the idea that it's about our arrogance. It's what we leave behind. It's our air, our legacy. But once we do it and we think we're leaving a legacy behind, responsibility tends to fall short. Because when you come with all those kids or stuff like that, you must understand that a kid is not a plant. It doesn't self-raise.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And you can't come after when he starts thinking straight. Because I saw Nota said something like, mothers only care about their kids when they are, when they can start talking or start interacting. Before that, she doesn't worry about the death because she can always get a new one.
That's a provocative statement.
I like, you saw that. You remember?
I don't know if I saw it, but it's a provocative
No, he
statement.
said it. I think it was here.
Or was it here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yo, when I interview Nota, bro,
He says a lot.
my mind,
Yeah.
my mind, I need to be ready mentally. And the worst thing is that I always interview him after another 2-hour interview.
Oh, so
all the interviews I've done with him is like, I've done a 2-hour. I'm so fatigued mentally.
Oh.
But I try to catch up with a lot of the things. And even when I listen to it again, because I have to listen before I upload, But then I will miss out some of the stuff.
But actually, when I heard that, I was like, no, man, you sound like you haven't lived life, because I was raised by a mom.
Yeah.
She had to be the strict dad sometimes, because boy, you're always going to test the limits. Like,
Yeah.
Can I come back late? Can I do 1, 2, 3? If she finds some girls contacts and chats, how does she react?
Yeah.
Type of thing on your phone. So I was that kind of kid. But like, my mom had to be that. She had to enforce that. You get what I mean? So I can't downplay that. But at the same time, I knew the mere fact she stuck with me from that day with all my siblings and came with, like, literally grew us up, like, from a child till now. I can't look at that and say at one point my mom wasn't ready to take the responsibility. I'll have to look back at, okay, my dad wasn't here, and then my mom was here.
Yeah.
But then at the end of the day, it has to go back to what caused my dad not to be here.
Yeah.
Because what you are saying, when the mom wants to be the dad and the mother and the father and whatever, take up all the holidays, you have to understand that every story has 2 sides. Like, you think this guy ran away, there's probably a reason why.
Yeah, because there's so many different aspects to it. Some men are not allowed to see their children.
Yeah, so it's crazy. Like, but I mean, like, shout out to all the moms which do their job, but at the same time, let your kid know what happened.
Yeah, and also in terms of Mother's Day and Father's Day, we cannot assume that all black men are deadbeats. All of
Yeah.
us have a story about not having fathers, the 3 of us here.
Yeah.
But guaranteed we'll make decent fathers.
I guess.
And when we are fathers, I'm already a father to a 10-year-old. I'm here all the time.
But like,
I'm providing.
does the traumas reflect? Do you overcompensate for what you think
because
you've
I'm
never...
I'm an intelligent human being. Like, I read a lot, and I learned fatherhood from reading and listening to hip hop. It's I don't overcompensate. I'm not overly feminine because I did not have a father. Maybe I'm aggressive in that I could kill someone because of my upbringing. Like, I come from a place where people...
You don't say that in between a father statement. Maybe I can just kill someone.
Yeah, the thing is, like, where I come from, like, that's
Yeah.
where I learned male energy.
Yeah.
It has the highest murder rate per capita.
Yeah.
And when shit hits the fan, it's possible that
Someone's
we
dying.
could kill each other and so on and so forth. But the point I wanted to make about Mother's Day is that, look, you are as a woman, you are the carrier of this child. You decide whether or not they are given birth to. At the very least, like, look at the motherfucker. Like, look at the nigga, man.
Yeah.
Like, really, just look at the nigga. Because now we are carrying the burden of your bad decisions. Some niggas ain't shit. Like, I don't even have friends in my life because I realize a lot of people ain't shit. Like, okay, they're gonna borrow money. You know, at the level of understanding people, human interaction. This one, he's not a good friend to be around because he's gonna borrow money, and this one, he's gonna borrow your car. This one is gonna want to come and sleep in your house. You are always constantly observing human beings and rating them in your head. But I cannot associate with this one. He's going to do some fucked up shit to me or my family.
I wanted to ask though. Let's take it back to the men. Don't you think as guys we say anything and do anything just to get that cake?
I mean,
because
Yeah, we
guys
lie a
can
lot.
That's a
pretend.
good point.
Guys can pretend for
Yes,
like
yes.
3 months to be somebody they're not.
That's a good point. How long could it take for me to realize that? So for me, my vetting system is about don't drink, don't smoke, right?
Yeah.
And also have some brain because my children are gonna need to be helped with homework,
Yeah.
right? How long is that going to take me? So that's my personal policy on people who give birth to my children. How long is that gonna take me? It should take me as long as it takes me. So you should look for a nigga. I know South Africa is the context of poverty. It's like the last thing you want to really is to look at someone, look at their character. If they have money for savannah and buy you and book you at a hotel, it's like that man is interacting your level of poverty and lifting you up for that moment that you don't have time to look at something else. But that's on you then. That's on you. You have to look at people. Like even myself, I have to look. I have to decide. Okay, I have this 10-year-old child, and I think I'm even done. Like I've made a point to say I'm done with children. Like I am done because it's too risky. You're gonna give birth to the wrong person who wants 10,000 rands maintenance that you don't have, but they can prove to the court that you earn way more, and so on and so forth. So however long it takes me, it's gonna take me that long. If it's 2 months, 3 months, a year, it's gonna take me that long. But if we
Without
have
towing.
Sorry?
You can spend 2 months, 3 months with talking to a lady, meeting her every now and again without
That's a
actually
good point
having
as well. That's a
sexual.
good point as well. But if I'm uncertain, I'm uncertain. Like I'm taking a risk. I'm standing on this point. Like if I'm uncertain, I'm unsure about you, then maybe I can move on within 2 months. I don't know how long it would take. That's why I'm saying it would take me for as long as it takes me to be comfortable that you don't drink, you don't smoke, you're not rude, you're not full of shit. And most of the time, I'm actually not even looking at Gauteng province, you know, because I've already seen that
Yeah, I
that's
know.
like, that eliminates a lot of what I'm looking for, you know. But I'm not looking at the moment. I'm in a sorted, in a settled situation. I'm just saying if I were looking, I've thought about this, that I wouldn't even mess with Gauteng women because we're going to kill each other because they're very offensive. They are in your face. They will swear at you. They are smokers and so on. They are drinkers. Not all of them, obviously. But I'm just saying, if I'm looking for someone to carry my seed, I would look at those things. Yeah, but something like that. I don't know. Do you just go into bed with someone without looking at things?
No,
like
I'm-
without looking at characteristics if you're looking for a child?
I'm very, very observant. At the same time, I also don't drink and smoke. So,
Yeah, but-
I feel like my character is strong in general. So when women meet me, they already know what I'm about. You know, sometimes that sifts them out.
Yeah.
From the bullshit to for the people which can still pretend. And when I'm like that and I'm very driven in what I want, I don't easily get distracted by other things. You get what I mean? So after all that, after they see all of that and they still want to stick, that's when the surfing comes out. You get what I mean? But like at this moment, I don't have a kid. Not planning to. Whoa.
Don't get it until 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, until 10 years. You are in your early 20s. Maybe when you're 34, 35, you can try it.
No, but like these girls they want kids, bro.
No,
Like,
but
they
you,
look at
you,
me and be
you
like,
on your thing, though.
They look at me like, you know what? You can give me a nice kid. You.
Yeah,
like-
of course. Like you can give them a good-looking
Yeah,
kid.
yeah.
Your skin, your complexion.
Yeah.
Your sister as well has a beautiful complexion.
Yeah.
We've worked together, and you could give them, but it's going to affect your content.
Yeah.
I'm shooting content in my house next to my family, and there are days where they're not being nice to the people that are here, not being
Oh,
unpleasant.
they just
obviously.
it's their place. They
Yeah, boy,
stay
yeah,
here.
they're like, yeah, boy, they're protective of their place, and I'm like, nah, but you could have just said thank you or good morning or whatever to the guest. But we don't really fight over
It's
it.
more or less
I'm
just like-
observing it, it's like, yo, but you could be nicer to those people that come here because we're trying to make bread here, type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a very long time to have a child, you know. It's a huge commitment, and I'm shooting here, and she wants something there, and unfortunately, I'm shooting content here. Yeah, but anyways, let's wrap it up, Sydney. What do you think? Like, do you think every Father's Day we're just gonna have this problem of women hijacking it?
I think for a very long time. Because what I'm seeing on the streets is that a lot of the people that are having kids don't even intend to have those kids, so they end up running away. So I don't think we're going to solve this problem anytime soon. We're still going to have this situation where we're going to have fatherless kids. A lot of them, in fact, especially from where I come from, my village, it's kind of like in a rise, especially with high school teenagers, like high school pregnancies, like way too high.
Through the roof, ne?
Yeah, way too much, bro. Like things are different this side because I think they're exposed to like stuff like birth control and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That side's the ease, but like it's like a taboo. You know what I'm saying? If they see you at that clinic, it's like it's gonna be a story
In a uniform.
It's a story. Like you, man, they're always going to know that you have something there. So it's still a taboo. So we're still gonna be in this situation for a very long time. I think.
So what do you think will change it though, guys? Because I think maybe education on the kids, but like also the relationship between parents and their children is a big factor, you know.
Yeah.
Don't do this, don't do that.
I
parents.
dread that shit, bro. As you asked this question, I dread. My daughter's 10. Like, I dread it. I'm like, oh, fuck. If this young kid comes here at 18 with a child, what the fuck am I going to do?
Hey.
I've thought about that, and I'm like, I don't have an answer to it. But to answer your question, like Sydney is saying, it's going to continue. But then that's why we have to provoke. That's why we say, how about personal responsibility? Yes, and I'm closer. And you observe on Facebook a lot of closer pages that people are shaming their baby fathers every Father's Day. Good and well, you can do that. I don't have a problem because I'm proper. I take care of my kids. It's only one kid, you know, so it doesn't affect me directly. But at what point must we ask you the question, how did you get to a point where you, in this world that you're only going to live in once and die once, you decided that you're going to give a child to that nigga? What's wrong with you? You know, I'm twisting the situation now. Because you know, okay, you are giving us the evidence that nigga ain't shit. The last time you saw the child was when they were 2 months old. Now they're 11 years old. I know it's traumatic. I know it's not nice. But what about you? You opened your legs for that nigga to give you a child, a son. You don't even know whether he's prone to cancer. You don't know anything about that nigga. Like, you don't know anything. You allow him to go between your legs. Sorry.
But think about it though. Is there really a lot of male role models for this woman to look up to? Because all they hear is their mother complaining about men.
Yep. And that's why we need to have these conversations. That's why we need people like Nota. As insensitive and privileged he is, we need him to say those things. And Nami, as I'm saying it now, I understand it's going to come across as provocative, but we need that other thing. Because you can't go through life hearing one side of the story with women, men are trash. So what must happen when men are trash? It's over, okay. We
And
agree.
stop sleeping with trash cans, okay?
There you go. That's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah, but just vet these niggas. Black Coffee released an album last week. It was, Drake released an album.
Yeah, I know why you said that.
So many songs are influenced by Black Coffee. He's the executive producer. I listened to the songs. Because I saw from Trezo's, I follow Trezo, Riziki. He's a Congolese South African. And I follow him on social media. And he said he worked on 1, 2, 3, 4. He worked on 4 songs. I went to listen to those songs. It's dope. But the hip hop community is not happy. I heard it from the first time I heard the first few songs. I'm like, oh, this is a dance album.
Yeah.
I am not Drake's fan or not fan. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
If he does a nice song, I will listen to it. Tusi Slide, whatever. I'll listen to it once or twice and that's it. But Drake fans are feeling strongly against it though. What do you guys think? Did you listen to it?
I did, but like when you look at the cover, you know, it kind of looks like it's gonna be hip hop. When he posted it, it just kind of looks like it's going to be hip hop. It doesn't look like dance. So I think a lot of people were expecting like bars, like 808s and all that. So when they first played it, it's not what they expected. So a lot of them judged him from there, like it's actually not that good. But also, I'm just not feeling it in general. I don't know. I don't think Black Coffee and Drake this time, like, no, the combo wasn't matching.
Right, specifically what? The sound itself turns you off, or the quality of the sound? Could he have done amapiano if he wanted to do dance? What is your critique really at the level of sonics and music?
I think also, also he could have done Amapiano because looking at dance right now in the US
not
or
viable.
in Africa, maybe Europe, but dance, it's not popular anymore, especially the type of dance that he's making. I mean, it just isn't. But from a sound perspective, I do think that the quality was nice, the beats were nice, the combo was just wasn't matching. The quality is amazing, everything is amazing, but the songs just aren't hitting for me.
Yeah, I mean, at the level of Drake, your quality is always going to be nice because you can
Yeah.
afford the best producers. Did you listen to it, Steph?
I definitely, I can even break down from the moment I heard Drake is dropping. I saw that. I'm like, Drake is dropping. Like, I saw what you did on Certified Lover Boy, and I'm not staying up for this one. I'm gonna wait like any other person.
Yeah.
And then once he dropped the picture with the track list and
The people that worked on it.
yes, the executive producer and all. Once I saw Coffee, I said, no, wait, I have to listen to this
As South Africans, we have to listen to
immediately. So I waited for it to be. Drake has his own time. Ne? You can say he's dropping at 12. This guy drops on his Drake time, like whenever. So I waited for it to be on Spotify. Listen to it. I mean, the cover. I hear where you're coming from, but like every time I see Drake drop a cover without his face, it's very tricky. You must be ready for the shock of your life, because Certified Lover Boy, I still till this day think that he was trolling as like American hip hop. Like, look at the cover. He's
Yeah.
playing on what they diss him on. Soft boy, mama's boy,
Yeah.
light skin privilege, that kind of thing. He's playing on that. You get what I mean? So when I saw this one, I'm like, okay, yeah, I did get that. Okay, this is gonna be like Scary Hours. He's gonna rap. He's gonna do something. Played the intro. It was okay. Played the next couple of songs. Have I never been so disappointed in my life, bro?
Yeah.
Like, I was so disappointed to the point whereby I couldn't believe it. I had to listen to it again.
Would you
Third
describe
time.
yourself as a Drake fan in the first place?
Not as a Drake fan, but I really appreciate Drake's music.
Okay.
Because
Because
let me tell you, when did I even start the appreciation for Drake's music? I used to hear the name Drake before when he used to drop some mixtapes back in the day. But best I ever had was
Yeah.
the first song that hooked me to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
I can actually listen to this guy. You get what I mean? Because he has this mix of emotion / rap / deep talk sometimes when he wants to.
yeah.
When I saw that, and then what I'm seeing right now on the perspective of where I put Drake and the quality of music, not on just production level, on like the overall package. You know what I mean? I felt like he's at the point where in his career that he knows he can do anything in the world, and the world will just accept it.
Yeah, there
You
will
get
be
what I mean?
enough people to follow it and listen to it.
Because even when you listen to the album, as you're saying, the beats are not that bad. The samples, everything, the construction of the music as a whole is it's not bad. It's for me, it's like it became annoying. Drake's voice singing in a bass.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just like
Yeah, my critique of it, like, for me, I couldn't care less about Drake. Like I'm saying, I don't like or dislike him. When I was at varsity, he was starting to pop in 2009, and we liked him. Sorry, for what it is. And it's not like I follow every album. I didn't even listen to the one he was versing against Kanye West, Lover Boy, not Donda. I'm a huge Kanye West fan. I didn't even listen to Donda.
Yeah.
I listened to 4 songs on a flight. Listened to it again on a flight back. I was like, fuck this.
those guys are going through midlife crisis.
Yeah, and I also, then my question to myself at the time when they were fighting against each other, releasing at the same time, I was like, at what point do these niggas just run out of things to say? Run out of things to inspire? And then I had this internal battle with myself, and I was like, man, these niggas at some point really have nothing to say, because they have like 4 or 5 albums prior to the moment that they disappoint you. It's like, but really, they have nothing more to say. That's why Kanye West did the gospel album. Some people will like it. It's a Grammy Award winning gospel album anyways, but some people will say I did not sign up for this. So I get it. Like when I listen to this one, what is it? the one that we're talking about.
Honestly, never mind.
Honestly, never
I
mind.
felt like
yeah.
the same way.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
my comment after listening to it. Honestly, never
Honestly,
mind.
never mind. I never felt any type of way about it. I think maybe it was the bias of knowing already that there's Trezor there and also there's Black Coffee there. If I had to rate it, I would be like somewhere between 6. Somewhere
Really?
between 6, 6.5. I didn't get disappointed to a point where I'll be like 3 out of 10.
I was
would be like
close. I think
somewhere
4.
Between 6 or something like that.
I'd
I
give it
don't
a
think
4.
it's a because I'm not a house music person. Anyways, I listen to that and I'm like, I like the ad libs Zaga Trezor on the songs that he was on, and I like there was a what is this Flowetry. There's a song that they sampled from Flowetry, and I was like, I like that too as well. So I'm not a super fan of Drake. I don't like or dislike him. I listen to it, but maybe if I didn't know that Black Coffee was there, I would be less patient. If I didn't know that Trezor was there, I would be less patient because I'm rooting for those niggas to do a good international album with a breakout superstar. What I want to say though, as I finish up my point, is that I saw 2 times Spotify doing push notifications on that album. I do think that they're panicking. I do think that they know that people were not going to listen to it. So when they do push notifications, it's like, here's a new album. Do you want to listen to it? So it's on your phone automatically. Now imagine how many subscribers are on Spotify all over the world. And if all of them are sent those push notifications, that was maybe money from his, I think, Universal Music Group pushing, buying on Spotify to send those push notifications so that at the very least, because the word has gone out that it's a dance album, let's then pay Spotify to push this album to the people so that they can maybe rank up the listens to maybe 5 million or 10 million. Because usually these niggas do 100 million. If it's a popping album, they do 100 million per song and stuff like that. So I think the only reason why it will have numbers will be those push notifications.
With what you're saying, it's actually true because I had once a conversation with somebody which works in that kind of industry. So they tell me that the labels they sign contracts with literally have to put their artists and their music as priorities in playlisting, in as you say, in push notifications, in everything they do, because they can't surf out the best 1,000 songs, best 100 songs from 100,000 people. You get what I mean? So they have to work with already what the labels have and what people are talking about.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
On the strength of the songs, they would not need that's the point I'm trying to make. On the strength of the songs, if the song was not dance, and if they were not worried that people like you guys are feeling now, if they were not worried about that, then they were not going to do those push notifications. It would happen organically because Spotify wants you to listen to it, but it happened so quickly within hours of that album being released that Spotify sent me 2 emails to say, do you want to listen to it? It was an email plus a notification on the phone to say Drake has released, do you want to listen to it? But I had already listened to it anyways, and I went back to listen again. I think I listened to it 3 times. But I think they are worried that people are not vibing with the album.
You know why though? They predicting that he's going to get 200k plus in the first week.
Yep.
Mind you, this guy's albums, views, I think it's views, 800,000 first week.
Yeah.
Is it Scorpion? The one with, yeah.
I'll check it now. I'll check it now as you speak.
Scorpion.
Is it Scorpion?
I'll check it now
Yeah, I
as
think
you speak.
Scorpion.
There's an album called Scorpion.
Scorpion 700 plus. What's that other albums? All the other albums always equate in between 600 to 800 views in first week. This album is considered to make 200
It's
in the first
projected.
week.
It's
Projected.
to make- okay. So
Yep.
there's More Life, there's Views, there's Scorpion,
Scorpion.
Certified Lover Boy.
That one made 600 in the first
If
week.
you're reading this, it's too late. Nothing was the same. Take Care. Thank Me Later. Maybe the point that we need to ask. Then let me ask you, Sydney. At what point do we forget about the Drake that did Views and Take Care? Like, you already know he's got his child, My Bed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
it's
bad.
my bad. Yeah.
So you already know maybe
Is he actually apologizing? Like, my bad.
maybe he's Jewish. I thought of the name either Muslim, Islam or Jewish.
Oh, okay.
MAH B-E-D, my bad.
Oh.
I think it's something about being, because Drake's mother is Jewish as well. We already know that he's involved in relationships, so he's not going to tell you about college girls that he's fucking at this point. Like, at what point do you expect and accept Drake or Kanye or Jay-Z will start talking about things that are completely different? And would it not sound weird if Drake starts giving you financial advice just like Jay-Z did on 444?
I
mean-
it won't sound weird. He's rich.
I don't think so, but I think for me, it's like, it's all about records. Look at it this way. Like with Kanye, he did almost everything you can do in hip hop, and he went into gospel. And how many records did he break? How many awards did he break? Like, he was like almost alone, because there's almost nobody can compete with Kanye if he goes to gospel. And if you look at Drake, I think he had the same mentality. If I push to like dance, I'm going to break all the records. I'm going to like get more awards because I'll be in a category of my own. Because I'm like big, dance isn't as big as whatever category is in, like genre.
Yeah.
So if he
He's always
chooses
going
to
to be
dance,
bigger than the biggest dance artist.
he's going to be the biggest. So it's all about records. So like, he's done everything. So he's just trying to do things he hasn't done. That's it.
He's
Yeah.
checking off his bucket list.
Because
Is that what
like,
you say?
if you check out the awards that Kanye and Jay-Z have, like the number of Grammys, they're way above a lot of people.
Yeah.
So in order to catch up in this era when we have a lot of upcoming artists,
The reason why I asked this question is because you guys are going to continue being disappointed. Because they're not going to fuck college, or they're not going to tell you that they're fucking college girls anymore, because that's a phase that they went through. You know, that's a phase. I mean, they've told you about the father meeting the mother, who was black, and then the other one is white, and then this is where they used to work. The other one is from Memphis, Tennessee. You know, what else do you want from him? Like, I'm not trying to defend him. I don't care about
It's
Drake.
funny because Drake also said that it's like, I'm in a different level. My music is not even relatable anymore.
Man,
Yeah.
this doesn't mean that you... Bruh, this guy thought we all have houses in Spain. Listen, going to festivals. I don't lie to you. Like, as much as we know Drake is always going to do well, he's always going to be good as far as music's concerned. And that's the sad part, because he's considered music royalty. He
Yeah.
can't do wrong in anyone's eyes.
You know who else?
Who? Kanye.
Reese.
Yeah, Reese also. Like, if he drops a gospel album, you know,
be the
it'll be the best album. Rebecca Malupa will be angry. You get what I mean? So when I'm looking at this Drake album, I'm like, okay, guys, you do know that as African people, they're waiting for our review, because this is our thing. You get what I mean? It's big here. It's big in Europe. He did touch in like electro/house of UK in the 90s. You can hear a couple of songs. You can hear that dudes type of thing. You get what I mean? They're partying with Molly and, you know, glasses and just like, you know, he touched on that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the house that he worked on is big in Africa. You get what I mean? It's big songs. So it's up. Now it's like the whole world is waiting to see how the people that embrace this music are going to embrace Drake's music, his album, his house album. And it goes back to say, did Drake do anything different? We all know him as a culture vulture, right? People know him for that. He jumps onto stuff. I think he's grown over the time. He stopped cutting out people. He's involving people. Because if it was Drake of 2015, Black Coffee wasn't going to be credited.
Yeah.
He didn't get credited like that. Like, dude, this guy took Superman, moved Boosie off it, and put Georgia Smith, which was simping over, and then, you know, Coffee was a feature on his own track. You get what I mean? You see? So that was Drake then. Now he's saying...
even with I Love Makonnen, the song Tuesday.
that one is actually dope.
Yeah,
Actually,
the song, it became like a Drake song.
You
even
get what
though
I mean?
He's featured on that song.
His brand is so big, he's used to absorbing artists. You get what I mean? Into his space. Like, The Weeknd didn't want that. That's why he didn't sign to him. That's why there's that whole feud. Because also he didn't get credited on Take Care, some songs, and, you know, songwriting.
Oh yeah, he did. The Weeknd spoke about that.
You
That,
get what
there are songs that literally came from his brain.
Yeah.
He wrote them. They were his songs.
Yeah.
That Drake took them eventually.
You see, so for me, it's like, okay, fine. We used to this from Drake, but did he bring anything new to house? Did he elevate it? Did he grow it? Did he challenge himself to get into it with depth? Because he felt like he just winged it, and it makes me wonder, who does Drake have around him telling him, man, he sampled a squeak from a bed, somebody getting chowed. He was tweaky. He sampled that. I'm like, when does it come to say?
Kanye sampled a car note. You know when a seatbelt notification? Ding, 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 ding.
But like,
On that gospel album, he did that. And it wasn't actually a dope
it's
song.
dope, right?
It was
But
a dope song.
that one is what's this word people like saying? Obnoxious.
Obnoxious.
Yeah,
it's
it was
offensive.
it was like that when you listen to it.
Annoyingly
Yes, it was just too much and it was unbearable because even some of the songs you listening to it and you like, I would love to listen to it, but I'm hearing tweaky and all I'm thinking is this guy is chowing while recording. You get what I mean? Because I think he's at that level where he can do whatever.
Let's talk about Black Coffee. How is he viewed after this then? Because whatever you feel about him, he's a Grammy Award-winning artist,
Yeah.
and then within the same 12-month period, boom, he's on Drake's album, and his hand is featuring there extensively. You know, no pun.
His hand, God's hand.
He's got his fingerprints all over that album. Does he get another phone call from another big musician as a result of working? Let me start with you, Sydney.
Without a doubt.
His legacy.
Without a doubt. I mean, he's on the cover. He's an executive producer. So I think, yeah, it will elevate him maybe to those who want to like get into dance and stuff like that because he's mainly like into that genre. So yeah, I do see him maybe working with a lot of pop stars because a lot of pop stars do also do like dance sometimes and stuff like that. So I do think, yes, it will help without a doubt.
In spite of the fact that there's disappointment.
I mean, there's usually disappointment from guys that usually listen to hip hop and stuff like that. In that genre, dance, it definitely elevated him because a lot of people who are big in that genre are now going to be like, yo, there's this guy Drake, he dropped a dance album. Who was working on it? Who was doing this? So within that community, definitely is going to be big.
All right, Steph?
I would say definitely it's a win for Black Coffee because we all know a L for Drake is pretty much a W for a lot of artists. You get what I mean? Like a loss for Drake, a bad album is probably someone's best album, you know, and as far as projection and stuff like that. And
I get the point that you're making, that just because we see Drake as having lost, especially the critical acclaim on the album, he still sells enough for it to be a win.
Yes.
If you were other normal artists.
Yes. So even Black Coffee, it accredits him to say that he managed to get the biggest artist in the world into the genre that he is working on. You get what I mean? So I feel like it's a win for Coffee, but if he literally made Drake, if he made sure that Drake passes the limit, or you get what I mean, like tested how far he can go in this genre. If this is what Drake can do, okay, it's fine. But for Coffee, it's ultimately, if you get the biggest artist in the world on that kind of sound that you literally play around the world 24/7, it's a win for you. And what he leaves his son behind, it's amazing. But we all know that it's like, it's Andile Mpisani vibes, bro. Like honestly, like this, he's giving his son like the biggest like cosign. And I mean, like for me, I'm not going to be all hysterical that his son was on the album. I'm just like, he needs to earn his stripes just like Coffee. You get what I mean? So
yeah, but I say it's a good it is a good
step,
significant symbolism that you saying to your son, we are working with the biggest artist in the world, one of the biggest artists in the world.
Don't you think Drake's Black Coffee's selling point was because Drake is a father too? That's what he thinks about, you know?
I don't know what was the rationale, but I'm just saying, I mean, we are black people, bro, and it's always difficult where we work to put on our families and shit like that.
But
because
nepotism
we
is
don't
a big
own.
thing here, though.
No, but we always do that in spaces that we all know we have influence over.
Yeah.
Coffee does not have influence over Drake, right? At that point, in that interaction, he's inferior in that situation, even though he's respected by Drake, maybe because of what is achieved at the Grammys and his body of work in the last 10 years. But you go into a room with niggas who make more money than you, with niggas that are more influential than you, and somehow you are ballsy enough to say, well, how about I put my kid... Even though maybe in the studio when the song was being created, he was there, and maybe he offered a melody to say, okay, how about you put this? You know, but still, there's been people that worked with Drake who wrote for him, who ghostwritten for him, who were there in the studio. It was not even an argument. They were there, but they have never been credited. I think the symbolism of it, more than anything else, to be a black dude, a black South African in that scenario, but still find a way for your child to benefit from that thing, I think is dope. I agree with you that at some point he's going to have to earn his own stripes.
Yeah.
Fuck him if he thinks he's gonna coast along in life just because his father put him there. But shout out to his father for being able to do that.
The father did the job. Now it's up to him to run with it. You get what I mean?
Absolutely. That's why you're saying Andile Mpisana vibes, because you're not gonna, just because you're Mam Kiza's son, you think you're gonna perform in front of people who don't know you and they're gonna dance to your song at a concert without you grinding and making good music. Right, can we wrap up then, guys? Last 5 minutes. I wanted to ask you guys as content creators, the impact of comments in your content, right?
Yeah.
The impact of comments in your content. With Itiski TV, I don't read the comments because half of the people that watch our content don't like what we have to say, because we would have said something about Kaizer Chiefs or Orlando Pirates or Sundowns that they don't like. It's unhealthy to even read the comments. Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? That's my mentality. Although I'm creating content for you, it's like, fuck you. I don't have to read what you have to say. And strangely, in real life situations when we meet each other, they're cordial. They want pictures and stuff like that. You know. And then with Nkululeko and Cultr that I'm building now, I realize I have to at least like. I don't comment. I don't respond to any comment. I just like whatever, whether it's negative or positive. I like, so that you get encouraged. And of course, sometimes you get a notification that a channel that you watched the video and commented on has just liked your comment. So it's encouraging people to come back. It's a strategy thing. I try as much as I can never to be influenced by what people say on my content. Don't say the word fuck. I'm like, yo, I spoke maybe 1,000 words on this and you picked up 2 words that I said. What the fuck is your problem? You know, so I don't even respond to that. I offer people water every time, and you guys are drinking water. But there's an episode that is, I think it's on 40,000 views now. It's gonna be big. I interviewed someone who killed his father. It's a long interview.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, and it's a very difficult story. Now, I offered that nigga Caesar water 3 times before we started shooting. And I'm seeing that a lot of the people are saying, why didn't you offer him water? And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to respond to each individual, and I can't explain myself in the content. What are you guys, because you are content creators now. I'm not talking about my personal situations. I'm just using those examples. I couldn't care less because this is going to be big. What is your idea of people and their engagement on your content? I think I've seen you responding to people when you're explaining a complex situation, whether it's a court case or whatever, a cease and desist letter, and people misinterpret it, and you try and engage them. What is your approach to engaging fans?
It depends on what video I'm making. If I make a video about Aries, don't touch the comment. You know. So.
They don't know that.
Don't
like,
touch the comment. Just leave it. But if it's like a video that might need explanation, like legally, that's when I explain. But a lot of the times, man, like I've gone a week without making videos because of what people said. Like sometimes they can hurt your soul, man. Like
they don't realize that.
Yeah, a lot of the times it's like I try to tell myself I don't care. Like I don't care what you say. But once I read it, sometimes it affects me.
That's why you don't
end up
have
not
to
reading.
see it.
Yeah.
I won't act as if I'm Superman. I know it affects me, but I'm strong enough not to respond. But that's why I don't look at it. It is TV. I would, if comments would destroy people's souls, it would have been destroyed in the first week. Like I would have died in the first week just by seeing them. So I don't even look at them. I don't care. Like I don't care if someone says. And sometimes comments are helpful. They will say there's no sound. And you would see through those comments that shit, the video has no sound. But then you've done everything to make sure that you've vetted the video, you've looked at whether or not it's cool. Because we look at it. Like Justice edits it, I listen to it and I look at it and I'm like, this is good. Then we upload. Right? But then someone could say there's no sound. Whatever the problem is in between us uploading it on YouTube, they could be helpful. But it's like, sorry. I would never even look at that. You know, so you're saying you've been affected by comments, like
a lot. Like I used to check comments a lot, like initially when I was starting, because I didn't have any experience with it. So it used to be a lot of engagement. I used to be arguing with a lot of them until it started affecting me, but I just learned to like ignore a lot of them.
All right, Steph, you guys gave a middle finger to the slimes. I know, like you guys are strong. You couldn't give a fuck, but you are affected by it.
No, we are human. Like you must understand. Like before this, like for me, like I was behind the scenes, so the idea of comments or people talking about you was far from my mind. I always knew that if I'm gonna say this, they're gonna speak about it. They're gonna move on. So at the start, of course, I'm looking at the comments, I'm seeing everything. And then when I see some things I don't like, I definitely get annoyed. Like, this person, I can either think you're thinking with half of a brain, or you're being biased because I'm talking about your favorite celebrity, or like all those kind of stuff. But I know at the end of the day, it's the energy you take in that kind of proves of what you're going to react, how you're going to react, and how you're going to. Because sometimes when you come back to the pod, you would like to think about that thing, but then I told myself, dog, I don't care. Like, you see, when I have to reply to them, like sometimes, like, you know who really hates me right now? It's like Casper, whatever, Casper people and Aries people. Yes, those ones hate me because sometimes I'm brutally honest, or I am just not seeing what he has to offer. Sometimes, you get what I mean? So it gets to them, yeah? And that's fine, because with the platform we built, the foundation of it is pretty much like have a thought, because we always ask you, what do you think?
Yeah.
Because the idea is for you to say something back.
Yeah, engage the content.
You get what I mean?
Talk about the things that we spoke about.
You see, if I can read your comment and it literally goes back to what I said, and I can hear that you listen to this from a perspective of not being clouded by your romance for the artist you have, then I can engage. But if I see that, I literally have to turn it off in like once I see that this comment is like biased because of what I've said about your favorite artist, then I cancel it in my mind, But at the end of the day, I don't try to over cancel it, because sometimes it has helped me grow as a person, as far as just like articulating, putting out my thoughts, or even just like getting to the point, because some person will tell you, yeah, Steph is saying something that makes sense, but I just feel like he just doesn't know how to articulate it, and I can listen to that.
Yeah, I saw with Ria, I thought Ria was being insensitive with the suicide comment.
Yeah.
Because if he was blaming
Ricky
Rick, how he got to the suicide, and I saw people. And I messaged you and I said, you handled it very well because you were matured about it.
Yeah.
And you said to him, like, he hasn't experienced life sufficiently for him to know that people get to that point. Yeah, well, because some people get arrested falsely.
Yes.
And when they are falsely arrested, they realize that. So, for example, Ramaphosa can decide to the people who had the information about what happened in his farm.
Yeah.
And I'm making an allegation here, but I'm just using people in power. They could take you out as a journalist and they could arrest you. You could be there without any trial. No one knows what's happening to you. Your family can't reach you. And you could make a calculation that these motherfuckers are going to torture me, therefore I'm going to take myself out.
Yeah.
This is not okaying suicide or not okaying it. You decide what you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
But for him to go out at Ricky at that point, I'm like, shit, man. Find a different way to say it. But anyways, like, that's the beauty of content. That people speak into the microphone and they say whatever the fuck they want to say.
Yeah.
And people respond to it however they want to respond to. Just on the last one then, where is EverythingSAMusic going? Because I've spoken to you about, interviews and content you make between you guys as friends. Uguti, there is a need for more interviews and bigger personalities. Where is it going in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in terms of content?
In terms of content, at the point where we at right now is we bring in people that want to come, you know what I mean? And sometimes you have to decline people that, as you know, as a content creator, sometimes they just are not at that position to give you content which is going to be
It's going to be only 500 views. Because they don't have a life story.
Yeah.
They have nothing interesting to say.
You get what I mean? So at this point, we're going through that, because you must understand, when we went at a point whereby people were just like, they were like, yo, you guys are just like a grenade. You guys are just heavy, bro. Like, we can't just be, not like, people would say in the corner that you guys, I see what you guys are doing, you have a vision, but they wouldn't say it on camera. You get what I mean? Like, you came once when that whole Banang thing came out, you wrote a whole message on what you thought about it and the impact of not employing kids and them going on social media and them finding out and making mistakes. You get what I mean? So some people don't do that. They just literally say it to you in your face because they want to buy everyone's face. You get what I mean? They want to buy public face. They want to buy your face. They don't know who you're going to be tomorrow. So we have a lot of that in our industry. So technically, like interviews are literally on a, if we at the point where you wanna come and we want you, we'll bring
Oh
you.
yeah.
You get
If
right?
it's mutual that you feel there's
Yeah.
something to be done here.
And when it comes to other content, we look into other content because like I want to do more content that empowers like the youth, especially upcoming artists, because we have close to, I think, 40,000 plus followers which are upcoming artists. So if we impart something to them, it's like
Follow us on other digital platforms.
just on Instagram, 40,
Okay.
40k plus, plus, you know.
South Africa is a problem. Everyone is a musician.
I'm telling you.
40,000 musicians.
Everyone's a soccer player, everyone's
Yes,
a presenter,
yes.
everyone's a YouTuber. So like when we have that, I saw that okay, there's a need to know there because people need to understand.
But the strange thing is that they would, that's an ecosystem. If you have 40,000 upcoming artists, those 40,000 upcoming artists should want to watch other upcoming artists so that you create an industry within that. But
Problem is-
the last thing that they will do
Is going
is watch other upcoming artists. So you should easily have like 10,000. From that 40,000, you will always interview one of them, right? That's already an ecosystem.
Yeah.
If you are deducing or you are making out that you have 40,000 people who are upcoming artists in Amapiano, hip hop,
Yeah.
you indoctrinate them with the propaganda to say, hi guys, we have this platform for upcoming artists. This is what's going to happen. We'll release one interview every time. It's going to be interview plus the person's performance with their music. Now you're creating a product for them. You're telling them where to find it, when to find it, once a week, blah, 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 twice a
Yeah.
week, right? But when you serve them that content, the 40,000, only maybe 20 to 100 of them will watch. But all of them are upcoming artists. They would rather watch Casper and A-Riz and whoever is a mainstream
Doing the same
artist.
interview, giving the same answers on
There you go.
different platforms. You must like, we're very classist and we label to people according to where they're at in life. You know, we don't want to listen to advice from a person which is not anywhere in life. You get what I mean? So people don't really watch content from them. So the plan is to literally make a platform online where they can upload to see that where the numbers tell us who's coming next and we work with that. You see filters out there, you get what I mean? So it's literally a website where they're going to upload music and that's still yet to come. And I believe there's more content and more things we can do because, you might have big ideas, but it all goes back to accessibility and, funds, And
right.
that's what we're building.
Okay, Sydney, your last words on Mzansi A-Listers, your plans in the next 4 months and the next 5 months, original content. I mean, you are in Joburg now.
Yeah.
I spent 29 years in Cape Town. I'm 32. I spent 29 years in Cape Town being broke. I mean, my first million within 12 months of being in Joburg.
Yeah. So the thing with me is like, I'm still reinventing it because I made a lot of mistakes with my channel. I used to get about 2 million views a month when I was at university doing my final year. I remember I blew like almost 400,000 like 4 months from that channel. So
Okay,
Wait, what?
let's rehash that. So you used to make over 2 million views when you were at varsity.
yeah, do my
And that
final-
equated into 50,000 rands or...
man, I've blew 400,000 in like 5-6 months, somewhere like around those lines. And it was because like I made money and I had intentions of like growing the channel and doing new content. But in the middle of that, I started drinking.
Hey, my man. You're starting to
got
sound like I
complicated.
blew it. Eh? It's
It
slowly
really
turning
is. I
to
blew
it.
it. I was supposed to have a lot of content by now, like a lot of it.
And equipment.
Yeah, a lot of
It's supposed
equipment
to,
too.
It should help you buy equipment.
It was supposed to do that, so I couldn't do that. So now I'm looking at it with from a fresh perspective. I have like somebody who's also mentoring me and all this stuff. So I think from now we're gonna see a lot of content, and not just from me, but I'm also bringing in some other people, like paid content, but on the channel.
Okay, there you go. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming through. Thank you so much.
Shout out, bro. Shout out for bringing us.
Yeah. Thank you very
you
much,
for the
guys, for
chicken.
watching. Enjoy. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Enjoy more of our content as well as Nkululeko and Cultr. Thank you so much for watching us.
Yeah.
Boom.